Well, we haven't exactly made a living off of doing vlogs here at Wonderland, and we're not really doing them anymore. But nonetheless, we're here one more time this season, and there's a real reason why. In fact, I'm not even going to do any rides, I think, today. It's just a brief little stopover to check out what is the construction of the newest ride here, Alpen Fury. Alpen Fury. I'm going to say that a lot. I definitely think there'll be a couple of misnomers throughout this video as we check out the new for 2025 attraction here at the park. Not really sure how I feel about it, and I'll probably disclose some of those feelings during this particular vlog, and we'll try to see some of the construction as well. So it's Alpen Fury here in late August at 2024 at Canada's Wonderland. Now the first thing we should talk about is, of course, Haunt. Not entirely sure if we'll be coming to Haunt this year, as there's not that many changes, but at the same time there's a lot of houses. I believe actually the return of Wicked Hollow, which will be nice. We shall see. And really the main reason why we're here is because this view is never going to look the same. In fact, it never looked the same after Top Gun's inclusion way back in '94. But now here we are 30 years later, and Grand World Expo is about to get one of the most significant changes it's ever seen, which should be quite impressive once it actually comes to fruition. However, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it. I'd rather honestly have a little bit of a better inclusion of a ride in this area. I think it's going to be impressive, but how it will look overall for the sightlines of the park, I'm kind of disappointed somewhat by. This ride coming up is going to take over almost half of Wonderland as far as the sightlines is concerned. And it's what I really get the impression of how it's going to look next year. I'd say it's going to look like a Japanese theme park with all these coasters sort of mashed together along the sightline, which is impressive if you go to a place like Cedar Point and other sort of parks that have a lot of coasters, or like strata or higher coasters, at least in height. Yeah, it's going to be impressive for sure. It's going to draw a lot of people's attention to this park in 2025. I am looking forward to it, but for those nostalgics like myself that have been here since day one, yeah, it is a little bit disappointing that a major portion of the park is going to be permanently obstructed in the future. And here we are last. I actually wasn't here for the original layout of banners in this particular area that had big as it teased, but now we are here, and you can see that Alpen Fury has taken over the parks. It's really an exciting announcement, somewhat of a surprise, I will say, because the manufacturer was not really what was expected for this park. We definitely need a launch coaster, without question. And this is, of course, the sightline that you're going to see in the area that we just passed. So it's a lot to take in for those of us that, you know, haven't had a coaster here in, well, it's going to be 6 years. And Yukon wasn't really that big of a deal, I would say, as this coaster is. Now, of course, Extreme Skyflyer was in this area before, and as you can see, it's long gone. And I do like the element that is replacing this on Alpen Fury. I have to say it's one of the more impressive elements that, I guess you could say, is Premier Ride's version of an ampersand turn. Should be pretty interesting once it's here. But once again, never gonna look the same in this area. Probably pretty soon. We'll always play Spot Sweeper Watch as well here at Wonderland, and we have one. Count it as one. Coincidentally, we're coming here just after a park tour of the new rides construction area inside the mountain. I said I wasn't vlogging here anymore, and the miscommunications, let's say, between myself and the park are the reason why that relationship is ending. It would have been great to have taken part in that, but unfortunately, no invite. So yeah, I do believe in a little bit of fair play when it comes to other channels being invited to that and me not being. That's all I'm going to say about it. And we're just going to check something out new here in the park, which is Grand World Eatery. Haven't been here since the changeover, so I'm going to go inside, get something to eat, and give you a quick review as well. Chicken, yeah, chicken's good. All right, just finishing up our meal here, our nacho breakfast here at the Grand World Eatery. Sorry, I'm actually smashed into it. It's gone. This area as well, you know, it's not exactly that much of a substantial change from what it was before. I would say it's just sort of like a freshening up of the space, because it still has some subtle details of what it was before, including a very confusing in and out system that this gentleman is actually going to go through right now. So if you forget, say, napkins or a fork or anything, you got to break through this sort of cordoned off area. It's very unusual, but yeah. Definitely a nice freshening up of the space. Can't really say the selection of food was that incredible, to be honest with you. But I do like the color scheme, and it's kind of retained a bit of its character from the past. And here you have it, a view that's forever going to change. And photo bombs forever. And here you have it, a view that's forever going to change as of next year, right in front of the mountain, right in front of Lazy Bear Lodge. This is going to be a massive inversion. And we're not talking about this one. Oh, this was the first massive inversion. That's actually somewhat similar to what's going to be coming out of the mountain. Inversion here. Inversion over here. It's still actually kind of shocking how they're going to fit this ride into this space, considering the park isn't exactly bereft of space. But they've made the decision that they have. They've had their eyes on this section of the park for some time, clearly, for some sort of improvement, which means that international stage remarkably is going to be saved, as it should be. But everything behind it is going to change significantly, that's for sure. And I'm not so sure how noise-friendly the ride is going to be for shows that take place at international stage as well. So, yeah, it's going to be quite something having trains going through Alpen Fury. Let me make sure I get that right. In the background of, say, international or Italian festival, or the dog show, or the circus, or whatever they decide to put on here still over the coming seasons, because they've clearly decided to save the stage. There is not an area of the park that has seen more attention than this particular corner of Wonder Mountain. Obviously, with the inclusion of Lazy Bear Lodge to the left, it is somewhat wild to think that this area of the park will have 3 now coasters intertwining just in this small little area. All kind of with different themes substantially from what they were originally established as well. So it is quite something. And a view that's never going to look this way after today, or after this year at least. And here we have an area that will also permanently change, as right in this section of Vortex you're going to have the new coaster go straight through the supports on its way back to the station. Of course, it looks like the Sprite Zone will finally be replaced because of this, which is small but major victory for this area. And probably the most exciting aspect of this project, at least from a nostalgic perspective, is the fact that now here we are in Alpen itself, and we have the original Thunder Run station, also known as Laura Enzin, as it was originally known. which is going to be used for the new ride. This is the first time I've actually had a peek behind this fence during the major construction and actual announcement. It's a Monday and nobody's here. Hopefully we get this open in time. I know they were busy giving tours the other couple days, so they might be taking a break today because of that. You never know. There's lots of interesting facts that were shared during those tours about this construction. So definitely check those out. As you can see, the character of this area has changed permanently and will be significantly once the ride opens. I do think it's an excellent addition for this area that I never expected really to be coming, because this area definitely needed a new major attraction to bring life back into the Alpen area. So once this digger is out of here, with this support footer digger is out of here, we'll definitely get that. It's taking over, as you can see, with footings just clearly in place waiting for completion here in Alpen. I'm not going to get too nerdy on all the statistics. I will say that the capacity of the ride is very worrisome. Thunder Run also needing a bit of a makeover. Hopefully will happen next year. As you can see, one of the original sort of teasers in the background as well. Not many of those that I was able to actually capture in the last couple days. So more teasers of the ride itself. They're really everywhere. It is the talk of 2025. I will say that Wonderland's outdone themselves in that area, in the sense that generally our coasters are not really seen as one of the most anticipated in the year. But we certainly got one coming this year, or at least next. It'll be interesting to see how it all shapes out. This is our first view of the tunnel, which is the entrance tunnel after you leave the station to go under the mountain for the main launch out of the mountain itself on the opposite side where Vortex is. Plenty of information available to see. Also plenty of twigs in the engine of this particular digger, which is funny. It's coming. Quick little tour of what is going on here for the park in 2025, at least during 2024 here in August. Alpen Fury behind me, the display, show everybody what's up. It's ubiquitous on the internet now. You can find the POVs and amongst all the details about the ride on the park website, or in every YouTuber's channel that's a fan of theme parks, because pretty much everyone's been discussing it. I'm not going to go into the statistics, like I said earlier. They're out there for you to enjoy if you wish to find them. But for now, yeah, it's been impressive what they've announced for sure. I'm not so sure that the original concept of what this was going to be, as I did get word from a friend that used to work for the park about what that potentially was going to be. I think this is a much more exciting ride. I don't mind Premier rides, actually. I've been impressed with most of the ones that I've been on through the world. Yes, the trains are not great, and hopefully we will be getting a new train for this particular ride coming in 2025. I personally don't have too many issues with them, but yeah, skyrockets are definitely a very tight ride, so hopefully there's some improvement there. The capacity is definitely going to be a problem. I am not going to be staying at the park right now. In fact, I'm leaving after being here only an hour to eat and check out the land or the grounds because it's a little chilly today. But it's busy even on a chilly Monday here. So because of that, I'm going to get out of here because I don't really do the crowds too well, especially on the busier days. And this attraction is going to have a big crowd and a long line. So I don't know how they're going to be able to manage that in the future. Seems like it's going to be a bit of a problem, but it will space out lines for other attractions, hopefully, so that won't be a problem. But we'll see. We'll see you in early 2025 to find out, that's for sure. But for now, thanks guys for this brief little tour, and thanks for dropping in.